we're happy that we got him, Kelvin Sampson, in the home office, it appears.
Yeah.
That's right.
You guys hear me?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Coach, how are you doing? Thank you so much for doing
there you
this.
go.
We appreciate it.
You bet, fellas. How's everybody doing? You guys had a good summer?
Yes,
sir.
it's almost over, so that's great.
It's great for some people, maybe not for others.
True.
You've got 12 more hours of vacation.
My vacation ended somewhere around the 1st of July, I think.
Yeah. You came back in time for a hurricane, right?
Yeah, and that's a little bit of a ongoing saga in my backyard too. We got hit pretty hard with that, but no complaints. There's a lot of people worse shape, so all in all, we'll get over it. It'll get fixed eventually.
Coach, to get into Eddie Nunez, did you have a relationship with him before this process started?
No, I don't think I'd ever heard of him.
Okay. So what did you get out of meeting with him and your interactions with him through this interview process?
Well, I think anytime you're interviewing Ryan, it's all a crapshoot, man. There's no guarantees. That's one of the reasons why I hire like I hire. I don't do resumes. People don't call me. I don't take calls from people. When I hire a manager, I get to watch him for 4 years. That's all I need to do. If you play for me, I know you better than anybody. So everybody has their way of hiring people. Tillman and Renew, they had a plan that they wanted to execute with this hire, and they did. But this is a great opportunity for Eddie. He's got a hard job.
Yeah.
There is no easy jobs on college campuses. They're all hard. These are hard jobs. So they decided to offer the job to Eddie, and we're here to help him and support him, and he's here to help us and support us too.
From your perspective, is it better to have a basketball guy in that head job?
Well, I've never had one, so I don't know. I've never had a basketball guy. For me, it doesn't matter.
Okay.
The athletic director really doesn't impact my job as much as you think. I'm on my 4th AD here. I'm on my 5th football coach. So whoever the athletic director is, I'm going to work with him. But I'm going to fight for my program. I think I've worked for 11 or 12 different athletic directors, and everybody has an outside perspective. Most of the outside perspectives are usually clueless because you don't know what an AD does or how he goes about his day-to-day existence. He has a senior staff, and they all have different responsibilities. I think the 2 hardest jobs on a college campus are being the president, being the athletic director. I think they're almost impossible jobs. And more. That's why more and more athletic directors are either resigning or retiring, because the jobs have become almost impossible. But it's like I told him, though, if I was going to transition from the American Athletic Conference to the Big 12, I'd rather be in a city like Houston because we have so many untapped resources. whether it's Fortune 500 companies, companies that are right under that. We have an oil and gas corridor that I'm still trying to figure out why we haven't tapped into. And there's so many opportunities here to form partnerships with people that can be beneficial to both. Especially now that we're in the Big 12 and we have the eyeballs that we play in front of. But there's always a with any job, people that are that excel in their jobs have a clear understanding of how they want to do it, and they do it their way. And you can't try to please people when you're in these jobs, because if you do, you're going to be sitting with them, and then what do you have? It's like coaching basketball. I've yet to meet a fan that knows more basketball than I do. So why would I listen to them?
So you've had 8 weeks of summer workouts. You had 4 a week off and then 4 more. You get, I think, 8 hours a week. Is that correct, Coach?
Correct.
And 4 of them are basketball related.
No, we do it whatever. We'll do whatever how I say we do it.
Okay.
Okay.
All right.
I choose how we do the 8 hours. It's not the NCAA. They just give you 8 hours. You can do whatever you want to. It can be 1 and 7. It can be 6, 7 hours and 45 minutes and 15 minutes. It just depends on how you want to do it.
You give your assistant coaches a lot of leeway to lead those practices early in the week before you take over on Friday.
Yeah, they're not we only have 1 practice.
Okay.
And I run that practice. The other ones are workouts that we design to introduce our new players to certain things, and then we have a kind of accountability workouts for our returning players. We have goals that they need to achieve, but I've learned to be careful when I hear, like I'll talk to a kid that we're interested in, and I say, what have you been doing today, Billy? He said, I've been working out. I said, oh yeah? What have you been doing? He said, well, I've been, I got up 300 shots. I said, well, that's not a workout. That's not working out. That's standing or moving from spot to spot, catching and shooting. I got a granddaughter that can work you out. All she got to do is throw you the ball. What is working out? Everybody's definition of something is all they know. Well, it's not our definition. So, Mondays is individual workouts. Our individual workouts doesn't involve catching and shooting basketballs. It's working on our it could be it's usually gradual. It's usually a incremental process where we go from, let's say, the first Monday, second, third, fourth Monday in June, early July, and then the 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th. So every Monday is an increment of something. So it could be pick and roll, defense awareness. It could be help side defense awareness. It could be whatever we decide we want to work on. But there's always a method behind our madness. We don't do anything without thought and purpose. Purpose is a big part of accomplishing your goals or building a team. They have to know exactly what it is we're trying to do. And I've always believed very much in the whole part, whole method. Like I'll sit and say, this is what it's going to look like. It's like think about buying a jigsaw puzzle. The thing that draws you to that puzzle is the picture on the front. Well, that's what the puzzle looks like when it's all put together. But as soon as you open it up and you dump it out on the table, it's just 500 different pieces. Well, that's what it looks like to our team. I show them what it looks like, but that's January, February, March. Okay. Well, starting in June, July, you start putting the pieces together. It's like people are innocent when they ask this. They say, Coach, are you ready for the season? The easy answer is, of course not. they got a lot of work to do, but I don't have time to explain the process. But there is a process that I've always enjoyed putting the pieces together. Even in November, the puzzle is not together in November. I get amazed at people that want to put periods at the end of sentences in November. Losing games in November and December is really, and I'm sure I've said this before, never really ever bothered me. It just has not. I mean, we win a lot of games in November, December, but I remember I don't remember what years these are anymore, but I remember one year we played at Oregon and won. We played at Virginia and won. But let's say we had lost those games. I mean, what's the big deal? What's it look like in January and February? Losing or winning a game in November and December really has no impact on how you're going to look in January and February. Mm-hmm. So for me, I just know what the process looks like. I'm a big date guy. Like I know what our teams should look like in November around Thanksgiving. I know what our team should look like around Christmas. I know what our team should look like around Valentine's Day. And then I know what I would like for it to look like around St. Patrick's Day. So all those dates for me, I have burned in my brain how I think our team should look. Now, I don't think I'm smart enough to be able to explain it to somebody. They say, people, if you've been doing this 40 years, you've heard all the questions. Coach, do you think your team's where it should be? Never really understood how to answer that. But your team is always going to be a work in progress. It's never going to be a finished work in progress. And there's not enough time to prepare for every single scenario. And that's the thing as a coach that you shouldn't try to do. Sit around and think about what's the worst thing can happen. You better focus on the here and now. And I enjoy doing that. Mondays are Mondays in June, July. Tuesdays are Tuesdays. Wednesdays are culture days. Culture days means I can tell that they don't really have anything planned for them on Wednesdays, but I always can look down on the floor to tell the guys that are serious about being good at it. They're usually down there. Those are the days when the Galen Robinsons, or some guys you'd be surprised were never in there on a Wednesday, but they didn't love it. The guys that love it are in there on Wednesdays, and they all love it, but just they love it at different levels. Like Emmanuel Sharp on this team, we got a lot of guys that love it. So you'll see a lot, and some of them you'll say, well, I hope he has a good year. His year's not going to be as good as it should be because he's not in there on Wednesdays.
Okay. You talked about putting a period on a sentence in November. You put one on a sentence in March, and you step back away from that. How do you look back at that season, winning a Big 12 title? Is that everybody that is a fan of this program thinks of that as a massive accomplishment? Do you?
It's hard. It's hard to win the Big 12. Look at the. I'll tell you how to put it in perspective. I was head coach in the Big 12 for 12 years, and we won one regular season title, and we won 3 tournament titles in 12 years. But look at all the different teams that have won a championship over the last 30 years. Just look how many have done it. That shows you how hard it is. Look at the teams that's in the Big 12 right now and how many teams have done it. More teams have not. Kansas. I remember coaching against Kansas when their best player was Paul Pierce, when their best player was Rafe LaFrentz and Jock Bond, Jared Haas, Drew Gooden, Nick Collison, Kirk Heinrich. Those teams either won or right there to win it every year because they had the best players and they had a great coach. So to win the Big 12, the people that think that that's a major accomplishment are right.
Okay. How is Milos adapting?
Milos.
I've said it different every time I've said it.
Well, his mother. I always go home there. I always ask the mother.
Yeah.
Right.
Because my mother was really protective of my name. Growing up, a lot of people called me Kevin or Calvin. And my mother would always say, his name is Kelvin. And she was really protective. And she'd always tell me, if somebody ever calls you something other than Kelvin, I put a lot of thought in naming you, son. Make sure they say your name right. So I always think about these kids. When we recruit a kid that has a name that you can butcher, and believe me, I butchered them all. Nobody worse than me. But I asked his mother, how do you pronounce your son's name? She said Milos. So let's go with Milos.
Okay. How is he adapting to the culture, and is he where he should be at this point?
There you go. There you go. There you go. I have no idea where he should be on the calendar in June. Or what month? August. Okay, they go fast. The advantage he has is he's out there with a lot of guys that's been through a lot of wars. They help him a lot. Bishop helps him. Quantas helps him. Hollis helps him. He gets a lot of help, but he's a. I would say Milos is a pleaser. He wants to do well, and as long as he keeps coming to work every day with the right attitude, given the right effort, he'll get to where he wants to be.
You just mentioned Bishop, and I've always been curious. How do transfers deal with him when they first encounter him? That's got to be difficult coming from other programs.
Well, anybody that comes in here is dealing with him for the first time.
Right.
If you're new to the program, doesn't matter whether you come from a four-year school or high school. He's still new to you. I would say on the scale of 1 to 10, our kids would say our practices, the intensity level would be high. And the weight room is different. Like Bishop cannot get them in shape for basketball. There's nothing he does that equals what we do. Mm-hmm. What he does is get them in shape so I can get them in shape. He puts them in a position where we can do it. He can only take them so far, and then then he hits the ceiling. Like basketball is nonstop action. There's nothing he does that can equal a practice. What he does is change their bodies. The one thing I tell all our assistants eventually will be head coaches. I said, there's only one person in your program that can establish your culture, and that's you, the head coach, nobody else. I think what Bishop does a great job of is knowing what our program stands for and tries to emulate it as much as possible in the weight room. And when I was in grad school at Michigan State University in the late 70s, early 80s, most of my classes were either exercise physiology and or kinesiology. And when I finished my master's, they offered me a fellowship to get my doctorate in kinesiology. I applied for a bunch of basketball jobs and couldn't get them. I couldn't get a job. Of course, I was only 20. I was applying for college jobs. I figured since we won the national championship with Magic in '79 that would help, but it didn't. They realized I had nothing to do with it. They were right. So, but I learned a lot about the study of human movement. And then when I got to the NBA, I realized how good those strength coaches were. And then, one of the best strength coaches I had was Jeff Watkinson. He went on to become the head strength coach for the Atlanta Hawks. And then I had another great strength coach that's now the head strength coach at University of Texas. So I've always had a great strength coach. So when I got here, I didn't. But that was no surprise. The poor guy that they gave, the poor guy inherited as a strength coach. I think he had 4 other teams he's working with, and it's paying him about 75 cents an hour. I felt bad for him. But that was the level of where the job was at that time too. But after I think Bishop was my third one. I inherited one, terminated another one, and then when I brought Bishop in, I could tell we connected on a physio level. Bishop understood how to connect dots in the weight room. I loved the fact that he was a certified nutritionist, because we didn't have a training table at the time. They didn't feed the kids nothing. I knew I had to change that. You have to change everything top to bottom. You know, it's one of the things I told Nunez the other day is, I think when I took the basketball program over in 2014, I think that's about where the athletic department is right now. You know, it can be done. You got to get in there and figure it out, and nobody can help you. You got to figure it out yourself. You know, people that's got comments have no idea how to be an athletic director, so don't listen to them. Just like nobody knows how to coach a college basketball team, don't listen to him on that either. But if he'll go in there and know how to do it, he's going to have to know how to do it. And he's got a great opportunity here. But Bishop knew how to do it. He knew how to build a performance. From a performance standpoint, he knew how to get our kids from point A to B. And I didn't want to get that hire wrong. You know, I don't like hiring off resumes. You know, it's like the people that call you about a person, right? Well, what do you think they're going to say? Or the people they list on their resume, here's some calls you can make. Well, what do you think they got their calls down? You know, I'd rather call somebody that you don't know but may know you. I may learn more from that guy. So, you know, I was born at night, but it wasn't last night. That's why I don't hire off resumes. Mm-hmm. Those people can trick you. Hollis can't trick me. KC can't trick me. Bishop did not trick me. Kelvin can't trick me. Lauren can't trick me. There's a reason why our program from year to year to year to year to year to year, every year, is because of our staff. You know, players come and go. You know, we've had everybody from Damian Dotson to the New York Knicks to Jamal Shedd to the Toronto Raptors. Our program keeps going because we have not missed on our hires. And if you miss on a hire, you better correct it as soon as possible. That's the thing that's made the San Antonio Spurs one of the great NBA programs of all time. They missed on some draft choices. Don't look at them now. They're building it back up. It's a hard league to build in. But you know, San Antonio know exactly how to fix a problem. Most people don't.
All right. Thank you so much, Coach. We appreciate it. Thank you for your time.
Okay, guys. Let's get out there and support my man, Willie Fritz. Love him. I think we're going to have Great football program. I have no idea how good they'll be this year. I have no idea, but I know he's the real deal, and I'm looking forward to getting out there and supporting this football team. And don't forget about that volleyball team either. We got them coming up too. I mean, Coach Dave Rear, and those girls. I went and watched them play a couple of matches last year. They're awesome, but we got to get this football thing going, and let's go get some tickets, go out there and watch them play, and hopefully we can go get after UNLV and keep building and building. But we got a good one in Willie Fritz.
For sure. Thank you so much, Coach.
Okay.
Thank you, Coach.
Thanks for having me on, guys.
Yes, sir. That wasn't bad. It was okay. If you like that kind of thing.
Things are changing here.
Yeah.
There's something there. Everybody in the chat, there's something going on.
There is. There's a synergy between coaches, which you haven't seen in the longest time. And there's no AD that makes that happen.
Right.
It's great coaches understand each other and connect.